entirety of gaming, the whole history from Tetris to Halo, from WoW to Dark Souls, from Super Mario to Doom Eternal, developers and players have asked the same question. What makes a game great? Is it the graphics? Maybe the story? How about the movement, the gunplay, the map, the NPCs, the variety of quests? Or maybe it's none of it and all of it at the same time. You see, for me, a game that is great leaves a lasting memory in my head. And if it's really, really special, it leaves a lasting memory in my heart. The earliest example I and many others can give is...
Chief? Chief, can you hear me? At last! Are you alright?
Halo Combat Evolved. I dropped the robot voice. I made that intro a couple of months ago and I don't like it now. Also, this is my manager. Anyways, it's so weird to explain how impactful that game was to me and to many others. It's difficult to explain a feeling that I will never get to feel again. But I'll try. It was like all the imagination we had as kids brought to life and I could control it. It was awesome. A feeling so magical and cool at the same time that it made me think about it while I was at school. It makes me think about it to this day. Now that is a great game. Nowadays, it's rare a game makes me feel anything. Not to say that feeling. And yes, sure, as kids we felt more, everything was more impactful. Yippee! Plus, we did not have anything like Halo back then, so it was innovative. But I have proof that it's not just that, it's not just nostalgia. Let me introduce you to a game that made me feel close to that way, and it did it today. Horizon Forbidden West takes you on a journey that started with its previous title, Horizon Zero Dawn. In both, you play as an outcast, a girl banished from her people, and the only family she has is this guy named Rost that took her in while she was little and raised her despite his clan's beliefs. The game has you following a mysterious story in the far apocalyptic future, about 3040, where we are the aftermath, what's left of humanity's biggest mistake, AI. This in itself is not new. The rogue AI story we've heard a million times. Or is it? It is. I will try not to spoil the general story. It is really cool to find out for yourself, and if you want to do that, I suggest you start from when it all began, with Zero Dawn. It starts slow, but it's worth it in the end, trust me. While we are on the story, I haven't seen better writing in gaming anywhere else, maybe Cyberpunk. Every quest is meticulous. It has a starting quest, a middle quest, and an end quest to finish the whole quest story. It feels like a whole mini story within a bigger story. But I also have a problem with it, which, I don't like that the writers have poured all their heart and soul in every quest. Hear me out. Okay, hear me out. The information you're given is so much that it's impossible to contain it all in your head. A situation sometimes occurs where you have started these sort of mini stories, but in the middle of it, you start doing something else or you've left the game in that state. And when you eventually come back to that story, you've already forgotten what's what, because all the mini side quests just blend together at some point. And that wouldn't be an issue if most of the quests weren't chained or referencing already done quests. I mean, there should be a line between big, important quests and small side quests, right? For example, in Days Gone, every side quest surrounds the main one, the main story. They're adding to it like a violin adds to a choir. Okay, a choir. They're adding to it like a violin adds to a choir. In Horizon, while you're saving the world from tigy-wiggy mad robot dinos, a side quest may ask you to climb a tower to fix a Tinkerer's gadget. It's still cool, but not associated with the main story in any sort of way. And the main story is really good. Detailed and complex enough for every character to have their roots of the past and dreams for the future, but simple enough for the idea to be easy to follow. Filled with action-packed moments, puzzles, and beautiful scenery. I personally loved the story of the first one and only liked the story of the second one. Zero Dawn was very new and anything I found out about its world was exciting. Whereas in Forbidden West, most of the things are already established and revealed. There's a couple of times the story had me scratching my head. It has its 10 out of 10 moments, It's just not as interesting to me as the first one. Overall, for Zero Dawn, I would give 9 out of 10, and for Forbidden West, I would give like 7 or maybe 7.5 out of 10. I want to talk a little about the controversy that apparently some people don't like the model of Aloy because, according to them, it is purposely made to be non-feminine. I can only assume those guys haven't been close to a real woman since birth, because Aloy is based on a real woman. So they're basically accusing a woman of not being feminine enough? Fucking idiots. Also that Aloy is bi or gay, which is explored more in the DLC. I mean, fucking grow up and realize it's 2025, and just as we don't settle arguments with sticks and rocks, you need to accept the fact that the human heart can feel outside of the limits of the Bible. Now let's move on to something that you can't mention when you're talking about Horizon. It's graphics. I can't say anything that you don't see with your eyes. It's absolutely amazing. It looks gorgeous. It is amazing how much detail they've managed to put in, and the fidelity of it, there's nothing else like it. But there's also a negative aspect to that. I know, it's weird, right? What could be bad about amazing graphics? Well, since the game came out with the launch of PS5, a lot of people degraded the game as a technical demo of what PS can handle.
Like, I feel like this game is like what I would consider people, it's like an industry plant game. I always see everybody talking about this game, but I've never seen somebody playing it. I've never even seen like a video of anybody being actually interested in it or caring about it, but I always hear people talking about it. Am I crazy? Like, I almost wanted to try it out and be like, why is everybody talking about this, but simultaneously nobody is talking about this? Yeah, it's just weird, right? And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's weird because like that seems like there's such a huge disparity.
I don't blame him. He hasn't seen that each clan has its own culture, depending on their beliefs, and it is reflected in a very unique way in incredible design choices. He hasn't felt the world storytelling, which made me feel the horrors of battles against these AI machines, and the terrifying last memories that these soldiers had, by just passing an area of the game, because he hasn't given the game a chance, like many others. The game actually has really cool depth of its story and of its gameplay. It also explores the biggest subjects in life: religion, science, should humanity be sacrificed in the name of technological development, and so on. And I love the way that it does it. Every clan has their beliefs of higher being and their way of life, their culture. Just like us, and how our culture and gods differ depending on where we're from. And I really like that Aloy doesn't judge. She doesn't think she's always right. She listens, she helps those that think that machines are gods and those that think that the sun is a god. And it makes sense. She has much more modern understanding of the world and how it works because she's seen it through her focus. It is the little gadget that helps you throughout the game, it scans machines and so on and so forth, but we'll get on that later. I kinda like that she has a character that shouldn't exist in such a world. I mean, she was banished as a baby just because she popped out of a machine.
They are outcasts, both. And she is motherless.
People actually left her to die. I mean, who does this? Just leaves a baby out there. In reality, she would be captured and probably killed because of her beliefs. Or what's even more possible, because she doesn't believe what they want her to believe. Like many people in our human history. What I don't like is that she doesn't really have a bad side. I'm not saying she doesn't make mistakes or that she's perfect. It's just that she doesn't have any bad traits. She does push people away from time to time because she's a lone warrior and she has been her whole life, and that's understandable. But overall, she doesn't have any traits that she needs to work on throughout the game. You can't decline someone help, you can't fight with clans that you don't personally like, except the ones that are baked into the story. I'm really interested if this would still be the case with the MMORPG Horizon game that was in development or is in development. I'm not sure. Now for the gameplay, that is where this piece of art shines brightest. There's a lot to love here. You have a lot of different weapons, each opening a door for unique playstyle and unique combat experience that differs from all other weapons. Weapon upgrades could be a hell of a grind, which, you know, some people would love, some people would argue it's not good for a game that is story-based, but I personally loved it. It's especially a grind if you're playing on the highest difficulty. The focus is super cool as well. It gives you so much useful information about the machines you're about to fight. You have a glider, a mount, a flying mount later on. The movement, in my opinion, is super well done. It's weird how good it feels and how believable it feels when you think you have to avoid attacks and lasers from machine monsters. All the biomes are beautiful, they're packed with things to do, wondrous and mysterious things to find. I love how most of the time I don't even ride my mount or fly on my mount because of how much things there are in the game that just capture your attention. You're just running through the woods and you see somebody needing help, and that starts a quest that is 40 minutes long, and after that you already forgotten what you were about to do, and you start upgrading your weapons, maybe you start upgrading your gear, maybe you're farming resources. There's so much things that are going on, and this happens more than you think. I'm really surprised what GameRanks said about this gem.
Horizon Forbidden West, 7 out of 10-ish. And before you start typing out all those acrimonious comments, just follow along with our reasoning here. Yes, Forbidden West is a well-made game that looks astounding on PS5, and somehow even better on the Pro, but it's not without its faults. It feels like one of those safe sequels that doesn't really innovate too much on the ideas of the first game in a lot of meaningful ways. Instead, it's mostly just the same, but more.
I know gaming is subjective, what gels with me might not gel with you. It might not affect you the same way, but come on. I didn't like Elden Ring after playing Horizon, but I'll be damned if I ever gave that masterpiece of a game a 7 out of 10. It's a masterpiece for a reason, right? It might not be the reasons I'm looking for, but nobody can deny its greatness. And the same goes for Horizon Forbidden West. And they put Starfield as a 7 out of 10. Yep, that's right. Starfield is the same tier as Horizon Forbidden West. What were they smoking? I don't know. I mean, people love gaming series like Horizon and Dark Souls for what they are. You don't have to reinvent the wheel to keep a game fresh, especially story-focused ones. I mean, Command & Conquer tried to do that, and look at where it's at. Forbidden West is an overall improvement to Zero Dawn. It adds a few new features that change your game style, depending on what you want to do. It's weird, it's dumb. I don't fuck with their opinion on this, even though I like GameRanks usually. Or maybe they've reached the arena. That thing I fucking hate as well. It's not balanced at all, especially, I don't think it's even being play tested on the highest difficulties. It's basically the most important thing you need to grind to get the best weapons in the game. And I know that it sounds like it and it should be hard, I get it. But on some stages, it's absolutely impossible. It's completely impossible to do them in the highest difficulties unless you want to grind for 10 hours on a certain stage. And sometimes it gives you a specific weapon to fight in the arena, but either the time is not enough when you're fighting with your own weapons, or the machines are too OP or too much when you're fighting with the weapons the game gives you. And there's a lesson here, I get it. The game needs you to put everything you know on the line and test your skills. I get that. It's the idea of the arena. You gotta use the elemental weaknesses, you gotta use explosions that are scattered around the arena. You have to take everything in your advantage. In concept, that's the best way to teach a player about your game and its highest difficulty mechanics, right? It's the perfect way to let them elevate their skills on the higher level. But come on, you literally have to grind out at least maybe 2 or 3 hours on the same stage to just get past it. You have to have the perfect run. Everything has to go as smoothly as possible. No animation would have to fuck you up or anything. Nothing should hit you, You have to be pitch perfect. And not only on one stage, on many stages. It's not a wonder most players reduce the difficulty to get past the arena. Yeah, most players. I am most players. On normal, it is challenging enough for you to have fun, but also for it to be passable. But also on normal, it is as challenging as everything else is in the game, in the world, on the maximum difficulty. To whoever created the Shell Snapper, who hurt you, man? I want to know who it is so I can help him do it again. I find it funny that Aloy has a bigger pockets than Black Hose, putting things 5 times bigger than herself in her pocket. But let's go to the things I love. I love the music of this game. Amazing. I don't know if the artists were pressured because, diamonds are created under pressure. I hope not, by the way. I'm just kidding. It's superb. The game sounds as gorgeous as it looks. The subtle details and mechanical tones in the melodies. It combines nature and mech in one. Those two are usually opposites. One is gentle and the other is rough, but they've somehow managed to do it perfectly in the game's soundtrack. Certain big boy machines have their own theme songs. It's just amazing. I like how the human combat is much more stealth oriented, so if you want to scratch that itch, there you go. The finishing animations are also brutal. I have about 80 clips of what I like about the game. I really like how the machines have an actual animal behavior. It's a little nice touch, which they didn't need to do since, you know, they are machines. But this gives them a little soul. I like that. And cool little details like owls will fly next to you when you're on your flying mount, or pigs will play in the sand and relax. Or icons will have a little arrow feathers to differentiate between loot that you have shot down from loot that is on the ground. Or that you can scan the path that machines will take, but not the path of humans. Unless they have a focus on themselves, so you know there's something to connect to. There's so much of these, but anyways, I don't want to make this video 3 hours long, so I won't specify them yet. But if you'd like me to make another video on it, let me know in the comments. And while you're there, why not just hit the subscribe button? Why not? Cauldrons are by far the best part of the Horizon series. They are these amazing dungeons that are filled with combat, puzzles and mystery. When you complete a cauldron, it gives you the ability to override certain machines, so you know you can have fun with that. Whether you want a family member of a herd to betray his family or simply want to see two titans dish it out. Fun stuff. One thing that made this game a little less enjoyable is how often Aloy will just say shit. And specifically when you're doing a puzzle, how often she will just give the answer away, the answer of the puzzle. She gives you so little time that you cannot even try to think on how to solve it.
If I time it right, I might be able to jump and use my polecaster to get to the other side.
We haven't tried that smaller tunnel over there.
Looks like there's room underneath the core.
Thank God this game also has a modding community, and one of the mods is called Shut Up Aloy, which takes this issue away, but still it's annoying. The Horizon series have a special place in my heart. I really hope I've inspired the curiosity of at least one viewer to go and check them out. Games rarely cost what they're actually worth nowadays, but these two have a great value in my opinion. Go check them and have a blast of a day. See ya!